So for our first story, it feels like we just cannot go through the week without getting one bit of news about one of Disney's upcoming live-action reboots that just broke the internet and suddenly everybody is going crazy. But it seems that with one of them, things are getting a lot more official. Now, if you guys remember last week, news broke out that apparently Disney wants to go and make a live-action reboot to The Lion King, and they want to get Jon Favreau to be the director, and plus, they want to keep it as a musical. Kind of like with what they want to do with the upcoming Beauty and the Beast reboot. But the news that we got for you this week is regarding one of the previous announced projects, but now it seems that it is greenlit, it is official, and now they are officially going with it. And this one is with Mulan. If you guys remember back in 1998, it was one of Disney's animated hits that they had. It was released during the tail end of the Disney's Renaissance, after they released all their big movies like Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. And things are starting to wind down, but they're still relatively big hits. They're still something that always caught the attention of everyone, whether it be with Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Tarzan, and of course we got Mulan. And looking back at it now, it's still relatively popular today. You still see people singing the songs of it, and it's still a relatively well-executed movie. Beautiful animation, a great story, and a lot of fun characters as well. But now it seems that Disney wants to go back into that territory and go back into doing Mulan. But previously, back when they made the announcement in March of 2015, they just went and bought a script done by Elizabeth Martin and Laura Hynek. But since then, by the way, I'm taking my source here through Entertainment Weekly. Is it Entertainment Weekly? Yes, it is Entertainment Weekly. Okay, that's good. It seems that they are rearranging a bit of the script with the help of Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver in order to mix some elements. It's not going to be a step-by-step remake of the 1998 animated film. They're also going to mix in some elements of the Chinese story in which Mulan was based upon. So they're going to take the Chinese poem of Fa Mulan and integrate that into this movie, on top of throwing in elements from the 1998 animated film that we all know. So the only things that we know about this so far is that they have released a release date. They announced that this movie is going to be out in theaters on November 2018, surprisingly enough, and that they are going to go into a global casting search. They're going to go all around the world to find a Chinese actress who would perfectly fit the role of Mulan. So this is something that they have previously done before. This is something that they have done in which to go and find the perfect Mowgli for the 2016 Jungle Book. So now they're going to do the same thing, but with Mulan. So maybe they're going to find a name that we could recognize like Lucy Liu, or they could bring in an entirely new actress altogether. We'll just have to wait and see with what they're going to do in that department. Now, the idea of trying to adapt Mulan is actually pretty interesting, because in a way, when you think about it, Mulan is one of the more action-oriented Disney animated films. Now, of course, it still has that elements of the Disney formula that still makes it a Disney film no matter what. You still have the elements that, yes, it is an animated film, and yes, there are a lot of musical numbers into it, but this is one that it is focused a lot more onto the action, considering that this is about a girl who disguises herself as a boy in order to go and join the army for the honor of her father, so that he doesn't go. Her dad was absolutely weak, so she decided to go and take his place, so that he just doesn't go out there and immediately die during the training or in the battleground. So she decided to go and take his place. And of course, and also other elements that are from like Disney that they decided to throw in as well. Considering this is later in the Disney Renaissance, they have to include a comedic sidekick that mostly does a lot of improvisation and a bit of pop culture references as well by bringing in Eddie Murphy to play as Mushu, and you get a few other side characters as well. Like you got a few sidekicks like Lien Mia, fudge nabbit, Ling Tao and Xianpo. I'm almost, hold on, what the fridge? I'm forgetting the middle guy for some reason. I just need to double check on it. If I may look into this little situation. I apologize, people, by the way, that I suddenly forgot about this. It's just something to help me out. Let's see. Xianpo Ling Yao. Okay. I knew it was an ow something, like Tao, Yao, Mao. Okay, Yao. Ling, Yao, and Xianpo. Thank you. Okay, good. So, what is it? Okay, so let's go back into Mulan. Let's go focus into this. And how the fridge are they going to bring in Mulan onto the big screen? Like I said before, this is one of the more action-oriented Disney films. So, honestly, this feels like this could be easier to bring into live action. So, of course, I can imagine that this is going to be focusing a lot more on the action than anything else. One thing that I can probably guarantee you guys is that, unfortunately, this will not be a musical, so they're not going to be singing a lot of the songs like before. The reason why I say that is because I'm starting to see a pattern. Whenever we would hear an announcement regarding these reboots, rather they be like Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King, they will tell us if it's going to be a musical or not. Like last week, they mentioned how The Lion King will be a musical and they will still have a lot of the original songs, like The Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, Be Prepared, and all that kind of stuff. That will still be in the reboot. But in this bit of news right here, they never mentioned how there's going to be any of the songs that will be integrated in there. So what I imagine that's going to happen is that best case scenario, it's going to be a little bit like what we got in the Jungle Book. But I don't think there's going to be any moments where they're going to sing specifically. Maybe I'm wrong, but the musical numbers will really be put at a minimum, but we'll probably hear references in the score, kind of like in the Jungle Book where you hear Trust in Me when we see Ka, or anything else, like we hear a bit of The Bare Necessities when we're with Baloo. Like in the movie, it is possible, like we'll hear small riffs of either Reflection or I'll Make a Man Out of You, and those are the two that I'm pretty certain they are going to throw into it. Or worst case scenario, they'll just sing it in the credits. Like they're going to bring in a popular singer and they're going to sing Reflection in 2018 because they know for a fact that they have to put it in. Those were the two biggest songs that were released at the time, more so than any of the other musical numbers like Bring Honor to Us All or what was the other one? A Girl Worth Fighting For. That I can absolutely guarantee, and they have to go and do some kind of montage where you actually hear a little bit of a song riff of I'll Make a Man Out of You, because that nowadays it is an absolute fan favorite. In fact, that song right there is one of so far it's one of the most one of the most sung Disney songs from the Disney Renaissance. And this actually even includes the ones from the earlier times, like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. You still hear a lot of people singing I'll Make a Man Out of You or make references to it. So that has to put, I can imagine Disney has to put in that element to satisfy many of the fans to make that kind of reference. But what is interesting, though, is that the biggest discussion that I keep seeing around is which characters are going to be included. Like, of course, they're going to have Mulan, and they're probably going to have Shang and a few others. But the one that is heavily discussed is regarding if Mushu will be appearing. And a lot of people are trying to say that there is a very high chance that he would not. Because keep in mind, they're not only going to mix the elements of the 1998 animated film, but also they're going to put elements of the Chinese story. And chances are they're going to be a lot more serious with this animated film. They're going to make it a lot less of a comedy than it was with the animated film. So we might not really see Mushu going around. I can imagine they can do like in the 2015 Cinderella, where instead of actually having the mice and we got Lucifer, like we don't have the animal shenanigans going around. Like they just throw, like they have the characters there, but they're just small references. And that's what I can imagine. Like we will see Cricky, but he's going to be like a small reference. Like in the beginning, Mulan's grandmother will probably give Cricky, the grandmother will give Mulan Cricky as a cute little nod to the animated film, and we'll probably see some small elements of a little red dragon somewhere in the film, but we're not going to see somebody actually play Mushu. Or the worst case scenario that I can absolutely imagine is that they pull off like in Maleficent, where with Diablo the Raven, what they did in there is just basically turn him into a hot guy so that all the women can have like just some stupid eye candy. I don't know. It's just like that was absolutely stupid right there. It's stupid in concept and stupid in execution, I swear. Maleficent is just one of those movies that the more I think about it, the more that I find the writing to be absolutely terrible. Like seriously, it's just like the more I realize the stupid decisions that happen in there, it is so ridiculous. It is a failure as a movie. It is a failure as a screenplay. There's nothing in the writing that works. It is absolutely dumb. Like everything about Maleficent is absolutely stupid, except for Angelina Jolie herself. She could have been a great Maleficent, but too bad she didn't have a good script to come with it. But anyways, that's enough about Maleficent. Let's go back to Mulan. So yeah, the worst case scenario is that they do something like in Maleficent and they turn Mushu into some random hot guy to accompany Mulan. But that is just worst case scenario, and I know Disney is a bit better than that, so they're not going to do something that is completely stupid. In fact, Linda Wolverton didn't even touch this. They actually got good writers in this with Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver. So at least there is that. So chances are I don't think we're going to see Mushu in there. But what is actually very interesting about Mulan, though, is that Mushu is not the only comedic sidekick in there. The comedy is actually distributed with a few more characters than the usual animated feature, because again, you got Ling, Yao, and Shampo. And I might be in the minority of this, but I actually prefer those three guys than Mushu, actually, because with Mushu, he's kind of like in that category of all the Disney sidekicks of that era that, you know, they're like, they want to be like the genie and Timon and Pumbaa, and like he just follows that line where like you got Phil in Hercules, you got Victor Hugo and Laverne in Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then you got Mushu. So like he's in the category of the pop culture spewing comedic sidekick that's in that same category that wants to be like, that's just following the footsteps of Genie. But with Ling Yao and Shampo, they're kind of their own comedic sidekicks, you know? They bring in their own fresh, timeless comedic material that is always welcome. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like Mushu. Mushu is a great character. But honestly, for me personally, I just prefer Ling Yao and Shampo. So I think they're definitely going to be in this movie for sure. And they're going to help bring out a bit of the lighthearted comedy that is from the 1998 animated feature. So that's what I'm pretty much expecting, is that they might not have Mushu, but they'll try to make up for it by having the three guys be a bit of the comic reliefs of that movie. And other than that, it's pretty much all that I can think of, is that so far with Mulan is it's going to be a lot more action-oriented. It's going to be a lot more serious than how it was before, but there will still be a few comedic elements. But one more thing I would like to add that is actually very interesting regarding Mulan is the release date. And this is the first time that I see with those Disney live-action reboots where they actually released it in November. Now, when you look back at the previous ones, like Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, Cinderella, and The Jungle Book, and even the upcoming Beauty and the Beast, they're all usually released during the springtime, like around March, April, or May, around that area. And it's actually quite intriguing to see that Mulan decided to go and take a step further, and they want to go and release it during November. Because the thing is, with November, that's usually when big studios would unleash the big guns. There's usually this long period during September and October where they would release movies that nobody really cares. In fact, the only film that anybody would care during that time in September or October would be that one space movie that everybody needs to go see, rather it be with Gravity or The Martian or anything like that. That's usually the regular theme that goes on with those months. But other than that, it's usually the movies that nobody absolutely care about. And usually they would release that one animated film. They would release that one animated film that in the long run people are just gonna forget, and it's just meh, and they'll just simply move on. Like, it's the kind that nobody really is. It's the animated film that would just happen. Sometimes it would suck, sometimes it would be okay, but whatever. But then November would come in, and that's when the big guns would come out. That's when Disney would unleash their big animated feature. That's when some superhero films would come out. That's when November... It's kind of like November is the month that is the revival of going back into theaters. So it's interesting how they would place Mulan into that area instead of going with the usual spring location. But, you know, this could be an interesting choice. And plus the fact that technically Mulan won't be the only Disney movie during that time, because considering it is November 2018, they're also going to release Gigantic. So Disney is pretty much prepared at this point to unleash whatever they got, considering how November, that's going to be the time when they got they got Mulan, and then they got Gigantic. I don't think, actually, considering that it is 2018, I don't think they're going to have a Star Wars movie scheduled there. Maybe they will eventually, because I know that in 2018 is going to be the Han Solo spin-off film. Maybe they're going to reschedule it for December, and like at that point Disney will pretty much dominate the end of 2018, but I don't know. But I know so far it seems that Disney is going to take care of November 2018. They're going to take care of November 2018 no matter what. But as for Mulan itself, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Is it a good idea to reboot this film now that it's actually official that they are going to do it? I'd like to know your thoughts. Are you guys excited for a Mulan movie? Do you think it's honestly a bad idea like Alice in Wonderland and Maleficent? But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when the film will officially hit theaters on November 2nd, 2018. Hey guys, this is Animat. I just want to remind you guys that this is just a little taste of what you can get with the Animation Podcast. This is not all of it. If you guys want to go and listen to the full episodes of the Animation Podcast, then allow me to show you some of the different ways that you can go. First off, you can actually go on the website that it is hosted on, Filmbook, so you can go directly onto there. You can also go and check out the official Filmbook Podcast YouTube page, so at least you don't have to go away from YouTube and you can listen to the podcast right there. But if you would like to listen on the go, like if you want to listen it to on your phone or on your iPad and all that kind of stuff, then you can listen to it on either iTunes or you can listen to it on Android. So those are all the different options, and if you'd like to have more info, then all you have to do is just check in the description down below. And with all that said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes!